My name is Toby Bouch. This is my wife, Brandy Bouch. We are co-chairs of the Missions Committee here at Covenant Church of God in Charlottesville, Virginia. I wanted to share a little bit with you of how God is using our church, our congregation, and our efforts to touch the world for missions. We, for about just over 10 years, probably 11 or 12 years now, have organized and facilitated a conference that we hold usually early spring. And it's really an opportunity to have our congregation understand the needs firsthand from around the world, firsthand from the missionaries. And so that usually involves a banquet where we have a keynote speaker. We have the congregation bring in their own dishes. We have a lot of international folks in our congregation, so it allows them to bring their native foods in, wear their native clothing, and that happens on one evening of the weekend. We also have, as part of the weekend, some training time for the missionaries. We have them in, we have them meet with our pastor, Pastor Harold Bear here at Covenant, and really help them to interact with each other and to teach us as we teach them how to engage with congregations, how to engage with folks here stateside that can then pray with them and support them. A lot of logistics involved in the conference weekend. That's where Brandy comes in mostly. But one of the things that's been real valuable is to place the missionaries with host families from our church. One of the really neat things, and it's a huge blessing to the parishioners at Covenant to open their home, open their hearts, to feed them, to house them, to interact with them throughout the weekend. And so that's been a real blessing, the host families as well. Sunday mornings, one of the things that we do is our Bible study time on Sunday morning is led by the missionaries. We disperse them throughout the normal Bible study classes and allow them to share their testimonies, share their ministry, share what's happening in their country with the folks here at Covenant Church.
One thing I want to add to that is when we started doing these conferences, I think our initial objective was to bring missionaries in, and we wanted to learn about their missions. We wanted to bless them and support them. But what has happened over the years is that our congregation, our hearts have grown more for missions, and every year our hearts grow more. And we want to bring the missionaries in, and we want to bring them here to refresh them and to bless them over the weekend. And Toby mentioned a little bit, we have a lot of internationals in our church, but what has happened over the past several years is that we really are multicultural. So many cultures in our church, and it's really just blessed us, and our hearts have grown.
And that's a result of our missions heart. That's a result of the missions heart of Covenant Church, of Pastor Bear, being really imparted among the congregation, and us feeling like that it's our obligation to fulfill the Great Commission, to reach around the world and to touch the work of God, and to be, not just touch it, not just support it, but be actively involved, aware, coherent, understanding exactly what's happening, and understanding how we can take part in that. So that's something that, that then takes, the way that takes form throughout the weekend too, and the way that we then fund our efforts throughout the year is that a big part of the commitment that we get from our congregation for the year's upcoming missions events and upcoming mission support comes from a faith promise. What happens is at the end of the banquet, throughout the services, throughout the weekend, we tell people we want to do more this year. We want to do more than we did last year, and we have such a giving congregation. But what we tell them is that there's more projects now. The one thing that this year has been really on the top of our minds is that the fields are ripe, and allows people to say, you know what, I can be part of that. I can be part of that through my giving. I can make a promise, a faith promise that will support missions through the coming year. And that's what the congregation does, and that's what we are prompting them to do, and we are part of as well. And we've been blessed because we've seen throughout the years that when we commit and when we make these faith promises, that God returns it tenfold.